Well, the shir is Nishmas Zev Ben Eliezer, and also my celebration of my grandson's Opshern that we celebrated this Shabbos. It was his the haircutting happened last week. What? yeah, I'm also starting to, yeah. Yeah, of the Makoros of the Opshern, yeah. I'm afraid that not a lot of will buy, but you can find, there is a ballistic. So I would like to speak today about, first of all, a lot of different points. It's going to be again a very, I won't say heavy, but a rich year. First of all, there is a mitzvah. This week's parsha was the mitzvah of the Binin Beis Hamikdash, also the Mikdash, Shechanti B'Soichom. So there is already, we discussed it many times, maybe 50 times, it already mentioned that the tachlis of the Bria, according to some of the Rishonim, is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to live on this world, what the Kabbalists call the logo b'tachtonim, that he wants to live on this world. So normally you learn the pshat is no, that if you do, you'll be good people, you make all the mitzvahs, Hashem as a schar will live amongst you. So it's more of a, it's a, how do you call it, a promotion, it's a motivation. Hashem will live with you, he will give you more. When he lives there, he will give you more. So it's more of a schar and oynish perspective, but a lot of the Rishonim, or some of the Rishonim, are learning that no, and the Kabbalistim also, that the purpose of the Beis Hamikdash is because Hashem wants to live amongst us, and that the Beis Hamikdash is actually, it is the Gan Eden, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu already lived, but then because of the sin, HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to leave, and then he came down back in the oil of sorrow. So the sorrow had the tent, and everything that happened in the tent, the Shechina came down. And so our Beis Hamikdash is in essence just the blueprint, was built on the blueprint of the oil from sorrow. So everything that happens in sorrow, in a tent, we were building, and we are doing it again in the Beis Hamikdash. The Beis Hamikdash is a house of a female house, as we already explained you, the chair, not the chair, the table, and also the bedroom, which is the Kodesh, the B'nai V'Lifnim, and you see the two budding that stick out of the Poroiches, which represents the breast of a female of the men. So it is very female house that we are reproducing with the Beis Hamikdash, which is based on the blueprint of the Mishkan. So this is the whole idea. The idea of having a place is because the Sefer Yetzirah, in the Sefer Yetzirah, he speaks about 3 important dimensions and 6 directions. So the 3 important, and 10 direction actually. So the 3 important dimensions are, the Sefer Yetzirah explains that there are the place. So you have the 6 directions of place. So it is bottom and top, bottom, right, left, front, and back, which are the 6 places that we are shocking the lulav to. And then you have the idea of time, the 2 direction of time, which is the past and the future. And then you have the dimension of what I call the ruach, which is the toiv and the ra, the good and the bad. The idea where the 2 of the transcendence meets, when you have the transcendence, which is the truth, the emes, meets the gashmius, meets this world, which is the reality, which is a projection of the truth, the emes. So when those 2 places are, meeting, this is a place of kedusha, which means that the Beis Hamikdash is a place where the transcendence meets this world. So where there is what we call a mifgash, they are meeting with each other, and this is the place where the HaKadosh Baruch Hu can meet with the reality on this world. The human also has a heart. The heart, if you want, is the ruach, as Ibn Ezra explains, because the neshama wants to do toiv, and the koved, which is the guf, wants to do ra, and therefore the lev is where the bechira is between making good and bad, and this is the place where those 2 come together. And then in time you have the Shabbos, where the Shabbos is a time which starts and which ends, and then from before, when it starts, before that is chol, then he becomes kodesh, and then he becomes choil again. So the Beis Hamikdash of time is also the Shabbos. And it's very important is the link between those two. So when does it move from chol to kodesh? That moment we make kiddush. When we move from kodesh to chol, on that moment we make avdolah, which is very difficult to understand because theoretically, if you have to make kiddush, I would do kiddush in the morning, in the middle of the day, because that's the highest part of the day. No, that Kodesh Baruch Hu wants us to do two kiddushim, one kiddush, Moshe peut-être mets-toi en mute. One dusha is when we make a kiddush when the Shabbos starts and when it ends, because these are the moments when there is a transition, when the two touch each other. And that is the moment when they meet each other, where the kedusha Azman is meeting the cholin from the Zman as well. And on Yom Kippurim, this is the moment when all three together join. So when it is the place in the Lefnai V'Lefnim, the human come inside the Lefnai V'Lefnim, and the time. It is Yom Kippurim, the Shabbos, Shabboson. Yom Kippur is also considered the Shabbos, which is the holiest moment of the year. And so that's place. So this is place, and in the place you also have a place which has a kedusha, which is the Lefnai V'Lefnim. So you have a hierarchy of kedusha. The whole world is cholin, and then it's Israel as a kedusha, then Yerushalayim as a kedusha, the Azor, the Beis Harabais as a kedusha, etc. So this is a place. Yeah. So place has 6 directions. So you have one dimension, which is space, and then 3 dimensions, which is it depends how you want to define it. Space. You have one item which is space, which has 3 dimensions, and the 3 dimensions has 6 directions. So you have always a 3D. What is 3D? That you have 3 dimensions. You have a 2-dimensional space and a 3-dimensional space, and this 3 dimension has 6 directions. And time is only 2. And what? The achis and reshis. According to the Sefer Tzir, the now is not existing. It's either past or future. Yeah. The time has also, there's a kedusha and there's whole. It's also in the time, the Beis Hamikdash of time is the Shabbos or Yom Kippurim. Yeah. Pure time, yeah. Today, but I already gave a theory that it's possible at the time of the Yetzias Mitzrayim, we could see the Shabbos based on the moon, because the moon might have been a 28-day cycle, and according to the moon, that you could recognize that why it's considered the oyster, that the oyster is like referring to the moon. There is such a theory. And yeah, were 28 days, and through a cataclysm, it changed, and that everything got changed. That's why the first time to have an Odor Sheni was in the time of Yechezkel. Much later, we don't find anything in the Tanakh about the Odor Sheni, the 13th month. Nothing happened on the 13th month, which is weird. Nothing. No king was crowned, or somebody died, or whatever happens, and we never find in the 13th of the month. What? It's a pseudoscience. It's called pseudoscience. The example of pseudoscience that you will find in literature is that theory. By chance, I don't know why about that theory, because it's not based on scientific proof. It's based on the fact that they found all kinds of strange calendars. What? On clues and on all kind of archaeological finds. But it's not because you have a few questions and then you have an answer that answers those questions that the answer is true. It's just a possible answer. But to prove the answer, you need to be able to reproduce it. If that is the case, then you have to be able. And this scientifically, they cannot. What? What? The answer, it answers so many questions, not only archaeologically, but also halachically. There's a lot of medroshim that can be explained through that, a lot of medrash. I will not give you the shir now, but there's a lot of very nice medroshim that I explain with that theory, that it used to be regulated, and then it became unregulated much later. Okay. What? Yeah, yeah. No, but first of all, it's not a Hillel, no? It's another Hillel. It's a Hillel that came much later. It's not the Hillel, the original Hillel, no. But my question is why. Yeah. What are the Shia about? No, so it's the Beis Hamikdash. So the Beis Hamikdash is the place where the Kedusha, the transcendence, meets the Gashmias. It's the place where the two meet together. That is the whole idea. Like on Shabbos, the Kedusha meets the Gashmias as well. That's the time. It's the time, and the Kiddush we make it on the time when it's moved from, that is the touching point, and the other touching point, make Abdullah, which also the Rais according to the Rambam. And then I say that the human being also has a point in, apparently it's the lev, if you want, the ruach, where the neshama is attached to the body. If I don't eat, person dies, means the neshama goes away. So in other words, there is a link, must be a link between the neshama and the guf. What is this link? How do you define that link? There is suddenly from transcendence, and they have gashmius, and there is a point where they are attached to each other. And this link needs to be explained. And by just telling this is the ruach, which is the toiv and ra, which explains in the Sefer Yetzirah. So it's toiv and ra is defined by humans, because it's the eitz Hadaas toiv and ra. Only humans know what is good and what is bad. We have a choice to do good and bad. Yeah. Yeah. No, and the space. Between space, there are three dimensions. Space is space, and time, and humans, which is humans. So those three, and in Yom Kippur, those three meet together in one place, together on one time, one place, and it's together with the humans. HaKadosh Baruch Hu meets the human. You understand? HaKadosh Baruch Hu meets the human in the place, the holiest place where the connection is, and in time, which is the Yom Kippur. So that is why Yom Kippur is the holiness. There is a word which comes back a lot, and I just wanted to explain you kapora. Kapora. The word kapora is normally used lechaper al avoinus. It's always on. 90% of the cases is lechaper al. And where does the word kapora come from? Somebody know? What is the meaning of kapora? The touch. Forgiveness. Well, that's slicha. That's the saleach. That's mechila. What is kapora? It's like it wasn't even there. Reparation. Reparation. Okay. So the Ibn Ezra brings in the name of Yefes, I don't know his name, but apparently it was a karoi. It was a karoi, by the way, I'm just telling you. And he explains that kapora is what? Karoi is like a tzedeki, a modern version of tzedeki. Sorry? Yeah, he quotes a lot. They normally quotes acherim or acholkim. Sometimes he quotes names, and then he mentions that those are people who cholik on Chazal. But he mentions a lot because he was a Pashtan, and the Karoim were Pashtanim by definition. So the only source that he could look for, he could not find Pashtanim in the Gemara. So the only one he could look for are in the Karoim. So I am, but mainly he says no. Most of the time he says the same, but. So he says that lechaper is from the word kapoiros. What means kapoiros? Is the dexel, is the cover. So lechaper al avoinase, lechaper al nafshesechem means to cover. It's to cover, and the word cover and kaper is the same. The same kapel, yeah. Kapel I didn't, and kaper is also the one who removes the hair, because sometimes the word can be the thing and the opposite as well. Like that can also mean. There's a lot of words which I forgot already which ones I was going to check, but yeah, it is with a reish. No, kaper is kuf pe reish means to cover. Cover is in English to cover. To cover it means that it's still there. Oh, so the kapora. Like we put on the top. Yeah, it seems like to cover up, like we say, cover up. But that's true, because the truth is, the machlokas in the Tanoim, I didn't have the time to check. But slach lonu, mechal lonu, kaper lonu, or do we say machlokas in Tanoim, or we say first kaper lonu, slach lonu, mechal lonu, or mechal lonu? I don't remember anymore. I have to check it up again. I didn't have the time. But what is more? What is more? Do we go from the lowest to the highest, or we go from the highest to the lowest? In thing. We pass that kapora is the highest. It's like completely mechupar. It's forgotten. But according to that, the kapora is only a cover-up. And then slicha and rechitza and it's a washing. What? Badek. Yeah. No. So the question is, when we say mikil komoicho over al pesha, is over al pesha means, like the Ramak explains, completely removal. Of over can even mean so you can cover it, and over means you jump over it. So it's not even covering, but you jump over it. So it's even a lower level of kapora. Okay, yeah, it's still there. Yeah. Kapora is oh, very nice. You want to say that the kapora means that it becomes, so it's still there, but it became a mitzvah. Yeah, you can say that, but it took cover. If you think about it, you will see a lot of time kaper alamcho. It's always used al. Why do you use the word al? Only by kapora, never by slicha or mechila. I don't think so. But only on kapora you see al. Yeah, but sometimes we also use kaper lonu. Flachlon kaper lono, but maybe should be kaper olenu. Yeah, but so 90% of the cases kaper alamcho, kaper alabayz, kaper alamizbeach. Also, when the coin is mechaper on the mizbeach with the blood, it means that he covers with the blood the mizbeach, the corners. It's also, what does it mean, the coin mechaper ala mizbeach with the blood? We use it because of the spritzen. There's a kapor. No, the kaper means to cover. It covers the mizbeach with blood. That's the touch according to that. Yeah. What? Yeah. To cover up. Yeah. Volksmund. Yeah, kapara.
I think once I saw that the word kapur in
it comes from
kapur.
Kapur. Because of kapur. Yeah. This is for the kapur. For the kapur shlogun. That we shlogun kapur
means like Jews when something is broken.
Kapur. So when it's broken, it became kaput. It could be. Yeah. I just so this is so the second part. So this is the element of what is kapur. It's good to know. It can help you in better understanding. I still don't know because I'm still struggling with this blood on the mizbeach, and so apparently it's to cover. But I can't explain why do we have to cover the mizbeach. If you can, somebody can maybe think about it and come with a nice explanation why is putting blood on mizbeach is helps. It's mechaper. And maybe the secret lies within the covering. So we cover the karnois from Mizbeach, and we cover the sides, we make a tobi. But the kaper means to cover. Just it's a karoi's idea, but it seems to be logically and correct from a pshat perspective. What? Of the Herrscher of Ibn Ezra, yeah, exactly. The second point I wanted to make, somebody asked me a few weeks ago, what is about the second Beis Hamikdash? And I wanted just to say that the second Beis Hamikdash, according to how I understand it, is not does not have the status of the first Beis Hamikdash, not because there wasn't the Oroin, but simply because also the Mikdash, the mitzvah, says the Rambam, is only when Rov Yisrael are Alad Mosom. So only when we are a nation, then we have a mitzvah to build the Beis Hamikdash. When the Rov Yisrael are not Alad Mosom, when the Rov Yisrael are in Chutz La'aretz, there is no mitzvah of building a Beis Hamikdash. And that's how the Rambam, the Chinuch, says it in Tzadikei. And so when Ezra went up, he did not, klal Yisrael were not following. He was a minority only that went up. And so there was no mitzvah of building Beis Hamikdash. So the building of the Beis Hamikdash, Shansky said to me this morning, because I asked him the question. So he said to me, the building Beis Hamikdash is Divrei Nevi'im apparently. So he agreed with me. And he said, and only said it, the Chagai Malachi, it's only the Divrei Nevi'im. So the second Beis Hamikdash was not the Beis Hamikdash of the Reise, which is the Rasul Mikdash, but it was a Beis Hamikdash with Divrei Nevi'im, and it does not have the same status as the first Beis Hamikdash. Just yeah. There'll be three. Yeah. But this is Nevi'im again. So yeah. Yeah. Not even. Daniel is not considered a Novi. Huh? Daniel is not considered a Novi. In the Ksuvim, yeah. No, but yeah. So it's interesting. So interesting to know that the Beis Hamikdash, even if you would build it today, it would still not have the same. We would not be Mekan the mitzvah of Beis Hamikdash, which also comes maybe to the Shiur next week, which even the Mechias Hamolek is also not today in the rice, because Rov Yisrael has to be Arab Muslim apparently as well, because it's all linked to the fact that you have to put on a king, you have to be Moich Hamolek, and then you can build the Beis Hamikdash. So basically, we are not in the status. So the whole Megillah says to those who are well learned that there was a mitzvah of Mechias Hamolek, it's only it's a Rotzon Hashem, but not it's a mitzvah as say as the rice. Sorry. Yeah. But it's only when Rov Yisrael Alad Mosam, then you have a mitzvah to destroy. Sorry? Yeah. Once we're there, so exactly. But once we are not there anymore, then there is no more mitzvah to kill Amalek. Apparently, according to what Avos wanted to be medayik today with me this morning, so I don't know. I did not have the time to really check it how the Rambam explains it, but it's based on a Mama Chazal. Oh, if once will be, then everything will become the rice eventually. Yeah. The question is, who is a Yehudi? That's will be the question. It's Rov Yisrael. Who is Yisrael? So what about the 10 Shvatim that are still spread that we don't know? Are they to be counted or not? And do we only take people who claim to be Jewish? And then the whole discussion will. Yeah. Yeah.
So fast. American, it does not in Europe.
Yeah.
It does not in Europe. There are more Jews in Israel than around 51. But they're also in Europe.
Let's park that discussion. So I would like to speak about the Kruvim. So the Kruvim are the two humans figures, kind of human figures in that case. The word Kruv means normally means a tziur, picture, something. Doesn't have to be anything. But in this case, Chazal tell us it's to humans. It's the face of children, keruvia, like children, so which are facing each other. I already spoke about it, but in Haredism, to explain you Haredism, as I coined the word Haredism versus Hebraism. So in Haredism, they look on humans as very submissive, as being people surucho. We come from the people surucho. We are nothing. We are avodim to Hashem. We are completely avodim, submissive to Hashem. While Hebraism sees based on the Josephism, sees the fact that we humans have a higher status. We are not just avodim that have to perform mitzvahs as Hashem asked us to jump, etc. But we are considered like a poel. We have a high purpose, meaning that we have to do what we already explained in Tikkun Olam, and Hashem gave us the keys. He gave us the powers to do that. So we are not avodim to Hashem, but we are what we can call a poel or a shliach, or maybe even a shutfus. We are partners with Hashem in the Tikkun Olam. Hashem gave us the Tzelem Elokim and told us, and now you continue the job that I was going to do, but I want you to continue doing it and build me my house so that we can come to living together. So it's really a partnership.
Why is it? Continue.
It's because an Evet is he does not has a choice. He has to do it, and the Hashem wants somebody who has a choice. You have to have the choice of doing it or not doing it. Understand? That's why a poel on Shabbos is allowed to do. A goy poel is allowed to do on Shabbos. An Evet is not allowed to, because the Evet does what I tell you. He doesn't have the choice, but the poel has a choice. He cannot do it. He can do it on Friday afternoon. He can do it on Shabbos. As long as he has a choice to do it, it's not. He's allowed to give him. So we have the chance. That's why the two kruvim were ponim el ponim. The symbol of the ponim el ponim is that we are on the same status. Hashem wants us to be on the same status as He is. Basically, we are communicating with each other, which is the basics as well of Judaism, is about the communication between Hashem and us. So we talk to Hashem through the tefillah, and Hashem talks to us through the Torah. When a person learns Torah, he's at the receiving end of the communication, and when a person davens, he is at the giving end. He davens to to Hashem. So we are communicating with each other. That's why davening and davening and learning Torah are considered the Avos in Hashem, because this is all about the communication with Hashem that we are communicating. And also by Chassidim, they tend to lift up their head when they daven, or they look down because it's a sign of thing. But we see a lot of gedolim that when they daven straight and straight and face to face. So basically, it's not up and not down, but really the face to face. So Hashem wants us to consider ourselves proud of who we are and having a purpose and being a shutfus in what we are doing. There's a Chazal also mentioning the word shutfus when a husband and a wife make a child is also considered a shutfus with Hashem. So this word shutfus is not something that I created, but it's really something which we see already in the Chazal.
What's the link between the same?
Because that was the whole point. That one of the kruvim represents Israel, and one represents the Kodesh. So when they look at each other, it means that they are in connection with each other. When they look away, it means that they're not connected. So this connection means that it represents klal Israel with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And in the middle there is the luchos, which is the communication that Hashem did with us, a direct communication. Which the luchos are not say one should not kill, one should not know, you should not kill. So it says so the luchos are talking to the reader. It's a direct communication with the reader, and this is why the luchos are in the middle between the two kruvim. So this is what Hashem talked to us in a direct ponim el ponim. Yeah. No, so we're not giving in the sense that what I mean to say is we are communicating to Him. The communication goes over from us to Him. And the Torah is the communication that comes from Him to us. And so these are it's just a two ways communication. It's not simultaneous unless you say Tehillim. When you say Tehillim, you are davening and learning. So that's why saying Tehillim is very holy by a lot. Yeah. So when you are davening the Shmoneh Esrei, it is as if you bring the Tomid Shachar, and therefore you are a coin that brings the Tomid Shachar. So yeah, it's like you bring. But yeah, that's what you mean. Yeah. So the korbanos are really giving up, and the davening. But if the davening is in essence the korbanos, as in place of korbanos, it is as if we bring korbanos, but we can't bring them, so we have davening. The davening is to replace, but it's also giving. But in any way, it goes from us to Hashem. It's like so we have the partnership. Now, partnership is something very important. It means, in other words, that I have a goal, but it also means that I have a choice that I can actually choose to do or not to do. And I would like to come back to the Hadaas. It's one of the things that always bothered me, and I think that this Shabbos and last week I discussed with my son Yechiel also. I think that the one of the difficult psukim, so it's difficult. What is this Hadaas toy v'ra? Nobody really explains it properly, what it means. And I would like to just give you my personal explanation. Whether you like it or not, and if not, like I said, we throw it in the rubbish, but I'll give you my explanation. We know that with the 10 Ma'amoros Nivro Olam. So how does HaKadosh Baruch Hu create something? By saying his words are directly translated in something. Hashem says, Vayi oil, Vayi oil. Hashem said this should happen, then this happens. So just it doesn't make put in a pot and then mixes and then no, it doesn't. It says words which create. So the question is when Hashem says to us, so what does it mean when Hashem says loy soichal? The first time that Hashem said something not to do, the first tzivui that Hashem gives to the humans not to do. So how does it work? So if I would be Odom and Chava, I would think, everything Hashem says happens. In other words, when Hashem says something not to happen, it means that it cannot happen. Understand? So when something happens and he says positive, it must happen. When it says negative, it means that it cannot happen. So not that I'm not allowed, but it cannot happen. In other words, I don't have the choice. So it cannot happen. If Hashem says not to eat something, it means, in other words, that I will not be able to eat it. So in other words, I don't have bechira. So I cannot. And it means, in other words, balebatish, that if I would like to eat it, something will block me. I will touch it, it will paralyze or I'll die or whatever it is. I cannot eat it because the idea is that physically it's not possible. Because everything that so far, so the Odom Rishon had no idea, do we have a bechira or not? Can we eat it or not? So that's the first time that Odom and Chava were challenged. They looked at this tree. We cannot eat from this tree, or we shouldn't eat of this tree. In other words, we could eat from the tree, but where? And so this is a continuous challenge. What is this tree about? Can I eat it or not? In other words, the das toivera is the whole idea of to know toivera is to choose. Das means the chokhmah bina and das means the synthesis is a decision. Can I make a decision between toiv and ra? That's the question. Everything that Hashem said, you have to keep shur, ores, pur, vu, that's I have to do because I'm an evet. And I have to do Tikkun Olam. But the question is, do I have a choice? And the first time that we see where the challenge of a choice is in the not eating of the Eitz Hadaas. And so the Eitz Hadaas, toivera, means that if you don't eat from something, it means that you have a choice. And therefore you are either bechira, then you are a partner. So the moment that you're going to eat from it, you will know if you had the possibility or not. So you only know, they could only know that they had the possibility to eat it if they ate it. So the only new knowledge, what? No, because if they try and they couldn't eat it, then no. Then they know that they had no choice. But then they don't know bechira. But if they ate, it means in other words that they have bechira. And so that's the time when this is why it's called the Eitz Hadaas toivera, when they have a choice. Das means decision, means synthesis of the two, and a balance. Yes, good, the pros and the cons, and make a decision. That is the das. Das toivera. I only know that I can do toivera if I eat. Unless I don't eat, I still don't know if I have bechira or not.
And why couldn't they ask?
Because they were not in a dialogue with Hashem, only afterwards. There was no, the fact that they can speak to Hashem, they didn't even know that this is a possibility. They only knew that Hashem told them, no. But the fact that they can speak to Hashem was already a chidush when only Hashem asked him, where are you? And then they asked him with the question mark, so they saw the question mark, so they knew I have to answer. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Why do they
Yeah. It looks edible. So in other words, I have a choice. So they were struggling. Do I have a choice or not? Is it something which? And so when Chava understood that I have no choice, so she said, even if I'll touch, will die because they're putting it to my mouth and I have to die. There's no other choice because I cannot eat it. And so the Nochosh said, so she touched and she didn't die. There's it's possible. I could bite in it. And so she took a bit in it and she saw that we can. And she gave it to her husband. Look, we can eat. We are more than we think we are. We are not just avodim that do anything, but we are already, we have a high level. And this is the realization that we have a bechira. Sorry? Yeah. but it's maybe I want to explain that, but I know it's far-fetched, but Ma'avi Rishon. The Rebbeinu Shalom Chazal explained, the Achronim explained, the Ma'avi Rishon means that the first time you make an Aveira, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you. And I want to explain it from that perspective, that when a person, the first time he makes an Aveira, he's like testing himself. You have to think, it's very deep what I'm saying now. He's testing himself, do I have the choice or not? If he doesn't do all his life an Aveira, and then suddenly he wants to do the Aveira, it comes from a testing, he wants to feel that I'm in control, or am I not in control? You understand? Yeah. So basically, I don't have a Bechira. He wants to feel the Bechira. When he feels the Bechira, he feels good about it. And then when he doesn't eat the second time, he eats it really because of Bechira. Sometimes you lose the Bechira. You're so much in this Haredism that you don't feel that you have a Bechira. You are completely in what? Sorry? Yeah, it's a feeling. And that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Ma'avi Rishon, because you wanted to show yourself that, but then don't do it again. So it's but that's maybe an explanation of now in reality, Odom could have seen from the end. Because why would I die? In other words, they didn't know if this is an oynish or it is what do you say? It makes it impossibility, or is it an oynish? From the fact that it is an oynish, is only an oynish and a schar oynish is only when there is prior. And so they could have learned it from the posuk itself, but they didn't. They wanted to experience it for itself, and it's very interesting. And I would like to mention. Yeah. Mikol eitz hagam ochel toichal. Vayitzav Hashem Elokim. Vayitzav. Yeah. Al tifta. Yes. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. So there isn't a tzivui both. There isn't a tzivui both. Bechira, but also al tiftach. It will not happen. It shall not happen. Yeah. It needs. Yeah. Doesn't it? Very nice. Yeah. It's always in the future. So there are two possibilities to read it. Either it is a tzivui, or it is that you cannot eat it. So basically, this is the question from Odom and Chava. Do I have a choice or don't I have a choice? So why do we have to die? So first of all, did Odom and Chava die?
Yeah.
Not a day. Why is it Biyom HaCholcho? Why Rashi doesn't explain. So Bois Thomas is mortality. So they became mortal from that. The question is, what does one have to do with the other? Why do you have to become mortal? Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But the question is in general, why do we have to become mortal? So the Ramban explains, interesting, Rashi doesn't even ask that question. It's a basic question. And they didn't die. Odom Rishon lived 930 years till after that. And so the Ramban explains that it's the day of Hashem is 1,000 years by us. And so he lived back to less than 1,000 years. And he gave 70 years away to humanity. The rest, the average age of the human is 70 something. And others, the Chazal say that he gave to the Melech, but he was going to. But that's a drosh. But the Poshup Shot means that we become mortal. So why do we have to become mortal? Because of that Hadaas. So if we are partners of Hashem, and we have what? Yeah, but why? Why is the mortality linked to the Hadaas? Why is because I'm a partner of Hashem, I have to be mortal. I have to die eventually. Why can't I live forever and be a partner of Hashem? So I would like to mention certain Viktor Frankl. And there is, I'm reading his book now. My son just gave me yesterday. And I'm reading his book and I'm already halfway through, never what we went through. I didn't even start the logotherapy. But I would like to just, there is in an interview which he gave, which I found this morning at 46, by the way, and and he explained there is I will very briefly explain what he says, Viktor Frankl, and the way I understand it. So I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a scientist, so I can only, as a normal mortal person, I can only explain you how he understands it. And probably it is my interpretation of what. So I'm inspired by Frankl. I'm sure if you will read it or listen to him, you might come with a completely different understanding. He saw the following. Normally we say, and this is what Judaism is all about, it's about ourselves. So we have human beings are born with three main drivers. There is the driver to survive, survival. We will do anything to survive. If there's a danger, we'll run and the fight, flight, and freeze and whatever. This is the survival mode. We have a drive for pleasure and avoiding of pain. We don't like pain, so we avoid pain as much as we can. And then there is the need of spirituality. The spirituality, we already discussed with Yosef Soloveitchik, the man of faith, that we all have a need of spirituality. And so what religion is giving us today, Judaism, Haredism especially, is tell us you will not die, you will die later if you make the mitzvahs, and you will not die, because even if you die, there is still a life after death, so you will be living eternally. When it comes to pain, also Hashem will be roifes amachle. There won't be any machles, there won't be any pain if you do the mitzvahs, and you don't want to suffer afterlife, also not in the Gehenna. So you make mitzvahs, then you will go to Gan Eden. And then there is a spirituality, is the basics of all religion, is to give us, to fill us the needs of spirituality. And this is all what keeps us from going. That keeps us from going in this world. What he realized, Frankl, is that somehow people who were ripped off from everything, all the ideas and ambitions, and the only thing they were thinking is of surviving. So their survival mode was switched on the moment that they arrived in Auschwitz. The only thing they could think of after 2 days was, how can I survive the next day for a piece of bread and not die by work? If you read it, it's terrible. And still he saw people committing suicide. And that's for him, as much as I understand, this is a contradiction. Something is wrong here. People who are completely switched on in survival mode, the only thing is survive. They decide at one moment to still suicide, and other people did not suicide. So he wanted to understand what kept those people from not committing suicide, and how come that those people committed suicide. And then he realized something very important, which is the realization of Joseph Fiskin as well, is that besides those core needs, there is another need, which is not mentioned in those three, but which is a high purpose. There is a human being need a high purpose. In other words, it's a purpose which is bigger than themselves. Okay? It's a purpose that is not about me, but it's about something else or somebody else.
And spirituality is
What?
and the need for spirituality is
So yes, you could say that this is the need of spirituality, but in the way I want to, I want to say that the spirituality is still in Judaism is about myself. It's about Olam and is about schar, it's about the connection, the Beikos in Hashem. You understand? So it's not about the higher purpose. So, but you're right. It's spirituality then can be the meaning in reality, how he would explain that. But in Haredism, it is more about the connection with Hashem. Yeah, Yudke Vovke lo nodati lohem. An intrinsic need of within us. Yeah. Yeah. We can survive only. Yeah. Which could be the spirituality. Yeah, I agree. So this spirituality is maybe in between that. They fight each other. So the Judaism thinks spirituality means Beikos in Hashem, and the Josephism say no, spirituality means to have a purpose which is higher. So What he means to say is the following. The people who survived were the people that knew there is something that is waiting for them. There is a purpose. They have a meaning. They found there is a purpose which can be something. They still want to write a book, or they still want to do something which was bigger than the survival mode. So what he wants to say, that's very interesting, he discovered that the need for and the having a high purpose is stronger than the basic instinct that the people have, which is in the basic brains, the part which is still from the prehistoric before the Homo sapiens and etc., which they believe is that this is the instinct of survival. That's no, we have a much higher. We will survive this with the survival mode, and this people give up. In this concentration camp, we saw after a few days, a few weeks, they already committed suicide. People forget about that. But what keeps a person going is somebody has a high purpose. And if you have a high purpose, which is either you want to write a book, or you want to be with your beloved wife, or whatever it is, that keeps you from going. And this is a much higher than just survival and avoiding pain. So we discovered that meaning, it means the search for meaning, the meaning of life, which is really what old Joseph was all about. When 200 years ago, there was a rejection of religion, because religion is so much focused on ourselves, and then there is no high meaning which is bigger than yourself. And this word which he says is so nice, because it's really, I always thought that when we say the purpose which is bigger than yourself is poetic. I never saw it as something real. No, it is bigger than yourself. Yourself, which is the I, which is the basic instinct, and then you have a purpose which is bigger than that. In other words, it's really driving you as a human being to do things which, even when people give up already and they commit suicide, you will not commit suicide because it's bigger than yourself. You understand that you yourself have you don't need to live. You only need to live because there is a purpose which is bigger than yourself. And this purpose he develops further into a Lego therapy, which I still have to read. But he explains very nicely the Mishnah, which is similar to how I explained it a few years ago. Actually, I gave you once this my three shiurim on the trilogy on the Mishnah. So he explained Imeina Nili Mili. So he brings on from Hillel in an interview on American TV. Imeina Nili Mili. So he says, in other words, he says, I have Imeina Nili Mili. So I have a mission which is unique to myself. Imeina Nili, if I'm not going to do it, Mili, who is going to do it for me? In other words, I have a mission which is unique. You and you and you both have a mission on this world. And this is not about you, but it's a mission that you have a mission that only you can fulfill. So it's unique to you. If it's going to be only for myself, Moani, what am I? I'm not even human, because then I become an animal. Because what Haredism is touching, that's where I know it's recorded, but Haredism is very answering to the animalistic feelings of survival and avoiding pain. Yeah. And the spirituality, but even the spirituality is at the end to the survival. So it's the Moani is the Manitou says this is the Mo is the Behemo, the Bo Ma, the Mo is the where the Me is the who is the humans, and the Mo is a behemoth. So different behemoth is the Mo and the Me. The Bo Ma, so the Moani is that he is like a behemoth. He's not like a human. And that's where he troubled me. I got a shock today, and he says that so why if not now, don't push off. If you have a mission, you cannot push off, and that's why Hashem made us mortal, he said. And that's what I was like. I had on Shabbos the question, why Moistumah? And then I see this morning by chance in Siyata Dishmaya, I opened up, Victor Frankl, and then he explains that we are means you are mortal. Hashem specially made you mortal because he says it. Hashem made human beings mortal because if not, we would postpone it and you will never achieve it, this mission. So he really says that is that more or less how I explained it. Also by explaining what there is a deadline. So it's not like you have all your life. So that's the most tomus. The moment that you will realize that you are partners in Hashem, that you will take upon yourself, okay, I'm going to now be a partner with Hashem, I have the Bechira, and I have the possibility to do what I'm supposed to do, the Tikkun Olam, then you will become mortal. And therefore you don't have, because you have a choice. And if you have a choice, the only way that I can push you and motivate you to do this is by telling you the clock is ticking. There is. I'm not a novice, and you have to choose. But I think that everybody knows. If you have a feeling that you want to write book, and this is your Tikkun Olam, to make the world nicer, to inspire the people that are writing your books, then this is your Tikkun Olam. This is your job, and this is what you have to continue doing. And this is more important. And I'm afraid to say that it's more important than the other things which has to do with religion. Religiosity has to help you that your writing of the book should be Hadaas HaTorah and Hadaas how the Shem wants us. And that is the Tayag Mitzvahs and the Kabbalah and the Sefer Musa have to teach you that. But maybe your mission is to write the book. And this is much stronger than the survival and the self-centered Judaism. Judaism, I think, today has evolved. Today, Rav Geli was by us and also spoke about you have to do and there is this idea of Tippus Rucho, which was at the Musar movement, was a reaction to Josephism, which said, but it doesn't work. There is a problem that youngsters they reject this type of youth. They don't want that. Then I don't know. If I'm a Tippus Rucho anyway, I don't need it. Leave me alone. I will go. I won't have Olam. I mean, what do you want from me? You understand? If I'm a nothing anyway. So no, you are part of Hashem. You are part of the life needs you. So I don't, when one of the people that died was dying, said, why I don't want to live. So he says, yeah, but life needs you. In other words, life, the world needs you. You have a purpose to give. And this is what he discovered from the Shoah. And I find it, this is really comes very close to what Rav Kook says, that there is a klal, there is the purpose, the klal and the prat, that we are focused, Yehuda focus on the prat and Yosef focus on the klal. And I think that Levinas, I have it now, I think I will need 25 years to read this book. I don't know, did you once try?
Right. Which one is it?
It's Totalität and Oneindigkeit. I'm struggling. If somebody wants to do it with me and to really start, I mean, at the first 3 pages, he wrote it in French. I prefer it in Flemish because I know Flemish better. In French, it's so rich that in every sentence but even the translation is as complicated as the French. So I don't know. I'll still try because I think that this is what he also says.
And you don't have books with
the what? That? No, it's a Canaan. No, I don't know. I'm looking. If you know one.
There are plenty of people.
So if you can find one, because I tried to see on Amazon, I don't know, if you find one, I'll pay you back if you can buy me with a perush. I have I was hoping to do for next week's shir, Manuel Levinas in the time of the nations, which is a shir on Gemara. So it is really a shir on Gemara. Very, very unbelievable. If you read in his forum, his books, you think that this is the son of the Chofetz Chaim, or maybe even the Chofetz Chaim himself, writing it with such a love to the Torah, such a love to Hashem, such a love to Chazal. It's unbelievable. And he was not a religious man. No, I don't know. Maybe he was. Religious. He was religious? Ah, okay.
My father told me he used to.
Because he didn't want to answer. It was Shomer Shabbos.
No, that's my father.
Ah. To listen.
But he was there.
He was a Shomer Shabbos. Yeah. Okay. So he was religious. Okay. Unbelievable. I'm really, but it's such a shame that he wrote it in ways which is typical at the time that make it more complex. The more complex it is, the better. But it's a shame because we. What? And then trying to have I think it's Dutch. The Dutch people took him more. Theo de Boer. I already contacted one, but I found an old translation, and we can't find it nowhere. So I contacted this guy, but he's probably dead already. It was 1970 or 80. I tried to contact him. Yeah. No. So this one, I don't understand how a goy can translate that, because this is really Gemorahs and concept of Gemorahs that I don't know. But this one, yeah, because this one was written for everybody, so it's not truly written. But he calls, so again, so what he says is about the me, and the what Frankl is the me and the higher purpose than myself, which for me was a concept which was, but now it becomes concrete. Because when a person, the idea before the Shoah, if you had an ambition to find the cure of cancer, beautiful ambition, and this was driving you every time. But the moment that you were hungry or you were in danger of life, you would drop the ambition and you would go to survival mode. You would switch to survival mode. This is always how the world of psychology saw. But he discovered that it's not like that. That the only thing that keeps you is this drive. It's the drive to find something. And the survival mode, if it's only based on these two, then you would quit. After 2 weeks, you do suicide. So it's very interesting. Rav Kook calls it the klal versus the prat, and he calls it is the le même et l'autre. So it is the le même means the myself, the même, me and myself, and the and l'autre is the other, and the other means the bigger than oneself. And so it's exactly the same. So basically, it's very beautiful. It's exactly the same. Rav Kook, Lehavdelev Avdulas, with Manuel Levinas and Viktor Frankl have come to the same conclusion, and this is a critique, if you want, on Haredism as we know it today. You can, of course, say no. Haredism also believes in it. Fine, good for you. For you, it is true. But I think that there is still work to be done in Haredism. Really, but I agree. You could say that it is true. I think that Judaism is not Judaism. Judaism tries today to answer that there is a high meaning. There is more and more droshes that give that there is a high meaning, that the one needs you. But then they come back to the one needs you to do mitzvahs. So it comes back to the old, but there's still this high meaning. There is it's been developed more and more in the current shiur. But I like his chat in Imena Nili Mili. I have a mission which is unique to me, Imanila Atzmi Moani, meaning that it has to be more than just me. It's not Imanila Atzmi. No, I have to be for something else, for the other, for the thing that is greater than myself. That don't forget that you are mortal, and the mortality was started when the moment that we took upon ourselves this partnership, which is the moment that we ate from the Hadaas, because then we realized we have a bechira, that it's not Hashem gave us the bechira, and we are partners in this world. We are shutfim, if you want, on the Tikkun Olam, and that's why the two kovim, this is the symbol of the two kovim, which were face to face related to each other. That it's not a submissiveness, complete submissiveness, but it is something which is which has on the same level, which is, I think, a very nice story to tell. I don't know why we could have told it to our teenagers, children, that would maybe help some of them to get a little bit more of self-esteem, which is something which we today are missing a lot in the world. So quickly recap: Bina Beis Hamikdash, the three dimensions that meet each other. The word kapora comes from to cover. The word cover is also the same shoresh of kapora, is to cover. Kaper alam ho kaper al. You will see also kaper alam mizbeach means to cover the mizbeach with the blood. I still don't know the relationship, how we can explain it, but if you find something, an idea, I would appreciate if you let me know. The second Beis Hamikdash, I said, was not a proper Beis Hamikdash because the Rov Yisrael were not allowed Muslim. Beis Hamikdash has to be from a Jewish nation. It's the house of a nation. Individuals, they have their own Beis Hamikdash in their house. That's why Sukkot and Pesach are good examples of those moments. But the Beis Hamikdash is a house, is only valid, it's only the house of a nation. As a nation, we also need to have a house of Hashem and a house from the people. And then we saw the Krovim that they look at each other, the Shutfim, I already said that. The Hadaas was the challenge of Olam Rishon and Chava were if can we bechlal eat it or can we eat it that was we have a choice or we don't have a choice. And so the only way that they could know it is by touching it, and then they saw, oops, I can, and they biting it, and that's the moment when they realized that they have the choice, which they became partners from that moment on. But Hashem at that moment on had to give them mortality as because if you don't do mortality, then the people, since they have taken upon yourself the contract of doing Tikkun Olam, if you're not mortal, then it means that you will push off the Nash of Amosai.
And if you don't know,
no, you don't have a bechira, then you can continue doing whatever you are, because they are like a robot. Then you are simply a robot.
yeah,
Animal. It's
don't they say that somebody took the schnorr?
No, I mean a dog
has
no. Yes, it could show love.
yeah, emotions.
It can be.
But the symbol of humanity is the bechira, the choice, and this is something which those thinkers were very much, even Frankl also. That's the whole idea. I have to still read a book. I think this is where he wants to say to you the choice. He very much focuses. You have a choice to do that. It's not like you have to commit suicide. You had this choice, but it helped. The idea was to find a meaning to your life. And he says that it's very sad that unfortunately it became a bestseller. It means that most people, millions of people, have a problem with finding a meaning to life. That's why he saw the people that write this book, because we suffer. And I understand, because we are not giving that. Nobody will tell you, no Rav will tell you that your purpose is to write book. That's what I'm saying. Nobody. On the contrary, yeah, Bittul Torah. This is the big mistake that we are doing, according to that view. Maybe I'm wrong. It's just a view, but I feel that this view helps me in a better understanding. You wake up in the morning to go to work, but by the way, don't go to work before you go to daven. You daven first, because you should not daven after you work. You daven before you work. But you wake up in the morning to go to work. Understand? Because Avodas Hashem is Tikkun Olam, is working, making this place a better place, and that's something which is completely different approach than we are used to receive in Haredism, and I think it's beautiful. I don't know. I find it beautiful. It's supported by so many sources in Chazal, and the reason why somebody would complain, maybe Moshe would tell me, why do you bring Viktor Frankl and Limina Levinas? You're becoming one of those snobbish American open Orthodox who brings always Plato, and it's not true, because they are really at the core. They are Jews that discovered that there is a higher purpose than oneself, which is not mentioned at all in any of the swarm that are in the Beis HaMikdash. So what can I do? I cannot develop it unless I find Manitou or Rav Kook or Viktor Frankl and Emmanuel Levinas. Show me another one. Show me the Maral or maybe some.
The modern
He also speaks about that.
Which is called King.
Yeah.
But to say that people today are King.
Okay, yeah, it could be. The Fromkeit is Haredism, which I call Haredism, and Yiddishkeit is what I call Hebraism. Yeah. So you have. That's what I'm saying. Judaism. That's why I always say Yehudaism, but because Yehuda is from the Kedusha is only religiosity, but Judaism has gone already evolved a little bit in this direction, but it's very rare. And if you can find this Ali Shur, if you can find me, please, which Perek, and I would like to find more and more to take it, because I really believe that this will help. I believe that this will help a lot. A lot of youngsters, I don't know, but I feel what? Sorry. What? Sorry. But I meant there is enough already.
Make sure you keep it like
Yeah. Yeah. No.
I think
It's,
it's nice job.
I don't know. Next week I can speak about either I can give about Levinas on Megillah. This is a whole book on Megillah. It's a very, very deep book on the principles of what it's why is Megillah Esther was not in the game. So the whole idea which brings down the whole sugi in Megillah. Or I can continue with Frankl and developing more the idea of Frankl and on the Shoah and explaining the Shoah, because I have also a theory around that. So I can, because it's a Molek and what do you prefer?
Both.
If
I
you
second
sushi,
that.
why not 11:30? Why not 10? And I'll come to both.
I think they like to do it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
No offense. But
I know, but it's only 1 week, and then in the summer I would like to start again with the more theoretic. What?
Well, in the summer, you're gonna change the subject?
No, but in the summer it's in the Smatters. I'm going to do it more from a Tariq perspective, trying to go from Judaism to Haredism. Here I'm really putting Judaism at the spotlight. It's not fair because no.
Free ride. What?
it's free ride.
That's not
That's-
so
Once we're out,
Yeah, but
In the
I'll see.
summer,
It's possible. It's
after
possible.
this,
We
you
humans
can
have
do
enough
something
weaknesses, so it's one of our weaknesses.
After
can do
Pesach,
Megillah
it
next
can be
week
after-
and-
on Shabbos afternoon again?
I don't know when we'll
we can
start.
do Megillah next week. Week after back to Megillah next week because it's cool. Then do.
Yeah.
Actually, to be honest, no, Frankl, I think I'll be quicker finished than seriously. Makes me nervous. That's why I'm a bit. I was hoping that you would say Frankl. This is a really
Megillah after Purim.
Megillah after Purim is not the same Megillah.
so okay. I'll
Next week.
okay.
But we won't have different minds.
Yeah, because this is really hard. I'm really struggling. Because I really believe that there is there is a lot of holiness in this book. I'm not going to say that he was. Why not? Bye. 1 second. Bye, Moshe. He's gone already.